Welcome to another edition of What the Fuck Happenings here in what is called the Inmendham and such. Something like that. Anyway, a not YouTube video. Kind of bad timing, I suppose, but that's the way it is. Just because it's sort of going to be a Hythloday video. In abstentia or whatever it's called. I mean, he's not really here anymore. Just a fact, And you do, as a courtesy, want to not say anything to imply anything or to, in some way, cheat the dead person. But in a sense, the dead person is saying, go ahead and cheat me, because, unless they leave some record behind to prove otherwise, you sort of have some obligation, I guess, to defend yourself even in death. I sort of think my videos do that. They sort of give me some protection against those who would wish to characterize inaccurately for their own little purposes. So I did make a video on the draft physics channel that I thought was balanced enough, completely honest, and I thought that was probably good enough. I knew I'd have to say something on this channel. I mean, it's years of interaction with Hythloday. He's part of the story, and just not really a great part. Not his fault, my fault, whatever. It's just that it was always an awful lot of frustration and irritation, and wasn't much fun in it. Just a fact. So, but whatever. I have no interest in qualifying any other aspect of his life than the aspects that were in my face, and so those are the ones I'll comment on. And but whatever. So we'll do some comments. Piero chimed in, of course, in his typically disconnected and completely irrational and full of shit way. So we'll deal with some of that. The interesting thing is at the same time the Hythloday left, the modern mystic sort of re-arose, which was interesting because some asshole left some comment. There's just such an asshole comment that I might as well comment on that asshole comment while I'm here. Yeah, here it is. This fucking Cato the Wiser, who I have, not a good impression of. Yeah, frankly, in terms of the unevenness of his commentary. So anyway, so the Modern Mystic made a video just talking about the subject of this difference between human beings in terms of perception of what qualifies, what makes consciousness interesting. And the mystic argues that there's nothing about it interesting, that we might as well be rocks, that there's nothing at all to see here, which I think is just idiotic. And then you have this other extreme, the Piero types, who anthropomorphize everything. The plants are thirsty. Everything feels, everything understands. Too. That was sort of the crux of the beginning of the conversation. Is do lions know what they're doing? Do they know they're ruining some animal's day? That they're causing pain and suffering and all that crap. And I think it's just any asshole who thinks so is ludicrously stupid and deluded, and their brain doesn't work, and they're just so full of shit if they think lions deliberately have children and all of that crap. I mean, it's just that idiotic. Of course, they don't know any context for their existence. They don't understand. So the word understand or know, do they know? What is knowing? A really interesting question in a sense, and in the sense of nobody ever talks about it. But obviously we can understand because we can understand in a context, and that's all that we understand is a context. A bunch of little elements put together. I feel, I can understand because I have language and all this other stuff conceptually. All these other animals understand. I get their testimony. They have the same experience as me, all that kind of stuff. And without civilization and language and all that stuff, you probably wouldn't occur to you unless somebody actually told you, we're doing the same thing you're doing. That might not occur to you. I can't say it occurred to me instantly. My first impressions are the world was kind of a thing, like a bubble that you poke into, but it doesn't have anything to do with you. You don't feel the street, you don't feel the dirt, you feel you, not the other stuff. You don't feel their pain, you can understand their pain. And this has always been the crux of the argument, is I keep trying to emphasize I don't need to be emotional about animal suffering to understand that it exists. That's it. I just have to understand it. I don't have to personally care. I don't have to like Jews or something to understand that their ethnicity is irrelevant, their genetics doesn't matter. Who cares? I don't need to put Jews in concentration camps because some Jews suck. Because some Jews suck doesn't mean they genetically suck and that every Jew is a virus or something. I mean, this is just simple logic. I can understand something. I don't have to act on an emotion. I can just understand, oh, okay, you don't do that. Again, I liked eating meat. I had a real taste for it. It wasn't anything like I had to have a visceral feeling to repel me from it. No, I just had to have knowledge, understanding that, oh yeah, this just doesn't work. This is a bad idea, don't do it. That's all. Nothing more than understanding it's wrong. Alright, so that's part of this context. So then I'll read Pierrot's tripey bullshit, and anyway, in that context where he doesn't even understand the arguments between me and Hythloday at all. And again, we sort of are, if we're going to define ourselves, we are what we produce, what we cause, what we do in the world is what we are. I mean, there's just so many angles you could look at this from. The guys whose dog, broke Hythloday's arm, chewed it to pieces, was he an asshole or not an asshole? I mean, you could argue clearly Hythloday thinks he's an asshole, a fucktard, because of what he did in the world. Now, I would argue that Hythloday did the same damn thing. Let his dog run free, could have picked on any victim at any time, who knows, and broke their arm. Now, is Hythloday only an asshole because he allowed the risk to take place? Or is he only an asshole when it actually happens? So is the drunk driver who kills somebody somehow more guilty than the drunk driver who doesn't? I mean, are you people this fucking stupid? That somehow it makes sense to say, okay, if you're lucky, you get a good reputation. If you're unlucky, you get a bad reputation. We'll crucify you if you're lucky. And that's all. We're just going to flip a coin to decide whether you're an asshole or not. Or are we going to just recognize that, no, the asshole part isn't necessarily in what you do, it's what you advocate, it's what you support, it's what you defend. Yes, if you think my philosophy, the things I argue for, the logic I put on the table and say we've evolved, nature is a mass murderer of children, life is imposing horrible risk of colossal failure. Why should you open the door for risk so we can sing and dance, so we can watch American Idol and watch some asshole sing a stupid song that, there's only about 250 million people that could sing just as well. What the fuck are if you think that's bullshit, okay, then think I'm bullshit, then hate me, then whatever, because that's who I am, that's what I am. I am what I advocate, I am what I argue for. I mean, this is just such bullshit, these people. Well, anyway, alright, so this asshole, right? So I said in the video, well, the Modern Mystic hasn't made a video in like 6 months. Okay, yeah, it hasn't been 6 months. It's been 2 months. Well, 2.5 months. Almost 3 months. Well, 2.5 months. And the videos he was making were poetry fucking videos then. So he was those 3 months of poetry videos. Who the fuck cares? So technically, he hasn't made a real video. He hasn't made a real philosophy video in 6 months. It's just the truth. And I was just making the point in the sense that people disappear, and you have to learn to adapt to their disappearance. And so it's kind of like they died because they're non-existent anymore. They don't participate anymore. Okay, and that's all that dying is just disappearing, not interacting anymore. That's about it. It comes down to about the same thing. So we have to go through this grief period, this adjustment period all the fucking time, because people walk out of your life all the fucking time. It's just a fact. You go to sleep at night, you die, essentially. You're dead. So you get to taste it. You get to experience it. So whatever. So all this crap is just bullshit. So anyway, so this asshole says, I went to check. Modern Mystic has made videos over the last 6 months. Now, even in the video he made, he pointed out how he's out of practice. So clearly my point was clearly valid. The whole use of this statement was clearly valid, and this nitpicking insane lunatic in the context of all these important philosophical issues, in the context of discussing the meaning of existence, this fuckhead has to sit there, interject, and point out somehow, no, you were wrong, you made a mistake, it's not 6 months. Fuck you. I mean, it's just so fucking petty. Made one 2 hours ago even. Yeah, well, I just said he was back, so gee, I already said that, didn't I? I just said he just made a video. So obviously, yes, he could make another video. Yes, that wasn't the fucking point. The point was he disappears. The point was he was gone for like a whole fucking year. Alright, didn't make videos. You fucking asshole. I was using it as an example. He deleted his whole original channel, you fucktard. Looks like there's a gap of 2 months ago, though. I mean, you're just an incredible motherfucking cunt. Nitpicky, losing piece of shit to sit there and bring this kind of nitpicky crap up in the comments section. I mean, how can you be this big a fucking retard? I mean, in the context of this whole thing, the guy just died. There's lots of interesting content here to talk about. And you fucking got to do this. This is what you do with your little moment. Your little chance to chime in. This is the chime you make. This is the noise you fucking make. You fuck. Useless piece of shit. I mean, god damn it. Just so bad. Alright. There's Hythloday's comment. See, the last comment comes to me. Okay, it's like the boring dispatcher's last video was to me. Yeah, it's all about me. But yeah, so Piro's talking as if he, had some great relationship with Hythloday that I have somehow insulted in some way. And I think I knew Hythloday better than Piro by a long shot. But anyway, and here he is, he's asking a question, about magnetism. It's just kind of ironic that in his 4-minute video where he sums up his life, I mean, he just couldn't care less, apparently. 4 minutes? Didn't mention his son at all, doesn't mention any of that, it's just kind of bizarre. But whatever, that's people. You all are kind of bizarre. Alright, so let's get to the Piro bullshit. This must be it here, okay. Alright, this video says a lot about you. So, yeah, frankly, I think it's, yes, I'll stand exactly by the video, okay? Like, first, it is a little awkward. The subject of suicide is always going to be a little bit awkward because, obviously, there's a conflict, and I pointed out the conflict. I pointed out how, well, you've done a lot to invest in life and gain some knowledge, and there's work to do here on planet Earth, and blah, 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 blah. And so whatever reasons you can make for living. But Piro says Hythloday should somehow be happy. Like, we should give him drugs, and we should do this and do that, because he should be happy watching a stupid world, watching a stupid maze with a bunch of bloody and torn up and wasted rat suffering. He should enjoy it. These assholes think we should fucking goddamn enjoy it. Well, even the Skid Row Radio, who I know pisses me off sometimes because he's just so fucking glib sometimes. He said some kind of tripe like that. It just really pissed me off. May as well try to enjoy the drive while you're at the wheel. I mean, again, no understanding at all of concepts like frustration and irritation, and again, uh, yes, having dogs break your arm. Yeah, I should just fucking enjoy the ride. You think that's an enjoyable ride? You're pretty fucking stupid. There's nothing here to enjoy unless you're a sick person. Okay, people enjoy eating meat. Do you think they should enjoy eating meat? Asshole? Do you think that's a good thing that people enjoy eating meat? That they should, well, they might as well enjoy the drive? They shouldn't contemplate the consequences? Fuck you. I mean, it's irrational mush. All right. I know. I mean, if you're a reasonably intelligent person, you should be disquieted by what you're seeing out the window. It should disturb you, as it did me when I was fucking 6 years old. I remember driving in the car, and you see the guy with one leg, and you see this, and you see that, and you hear on the radio about, Kennedy Volkswagens going off bridges or some other fucking thing, and you contemplate and you wonder. You think about, well, what those people went through and what you think about it and you say, well, gee, this is no good. I'm subject to this. I'm subject to any kind of fucking goddamn moment. I could end up in a fucking, a bunch of quicksand that I gotta suffocate in. And I should enjoy that ride. Why should I fucking enjoy it? Why should I get on a rickety roller coaster? I've seen it fly off the tracks and I should get on it and have fun. Why is that a rational fucking response? It's not a rational response. It's what you do to make do. It's what you do to do it because you have to for some reason. Because the alternative is a worse roller coaster. Oh, I'm going to get killed. I'm going to die. I get to die that way, or I die this way. And this one, at least, it looks like I can put it off for a while. But those are the two choices. Die badly or die badly. Immediately, right now, or put it off. Well, yeah, put it off as long as I can put it off, because I don't want to do any of this shit. I didn't sign up for this crap, asshole. Fucking goddamn people. And some other glib asshole sits there and says something, you've convinced half of YouTube that life isn't worth living. Now, clearly I haven't done that. If I had done that, well, then I'd feel pretty complete, and I'd say, yeah, maybe I can get the fuck out of here now. And yeah, you're still here. It baffles me. So this is the funny, right? The people are so fucking stupid. Stargazer, yes. Who does that? Who wastes more than about 43 seconds every now and then looking at the stars? I mean, I did the other day because they were there. And yeah, cool. Who does it for more than that? Who defines their life as stargazing? What kind of lunatic? All right, anyway. But I mean, this whole thing, he points out how I have accomplished something. I have convinced half of YouTube. So I would have been able to convince half of YouTube if I had killed myself 30 years ago? No, I don't think I would have. And then the whole idea of it baffles somebody that somebody could possibly prefer not to be bothered, but bothers. Like somebody goes to war or something, or they do a job, Like it baffles him why somebody would understand that they, have obligations or something. Or even, as I'll state it more clearly, I've been suicidal since I've existed on this planet. It's just a fucking fact, okay? If somebody gave me the choice to get out and, rationally presented it, well, yes, we are the human race, and yes, we have completely lunatic ideas about what reality is. We have no clue what we're doing here. So don't be prejudiced in any way that we somehow know what we're doing by living and having kids and all this stuff. We just do it because we're dumb fucking robots, and so don't be biased. All right, now here's your choice. You can, live your stupid life subjected to all these things, these risks, the dangers, the cancers, all the other crap that can happen. Or you can just get the fuck out of here. Gracefully just walk down this path, with Mr. Happy Face or whatever death looks like. You just walk down this sidewalk, and the sun will slowly set, and you will slowly evaporate. I would have evaporated, okay? I would have already saw that enough. I said, "Oh yeah, this is a bug planet." I already knew it was a bug planet. I grew up in a place with lots of bugs. It was very buggy. And it looked like a bug planet. It looks like they were winning in a lot of ways. So yeah, I already got it. There wasn't really much here. Okay, there's penis and the rest of it is just bullshit. None of the rest of it makes any sense at all. There's only one little thing. It was little at that time that mattered. So you people, I just, yeah, why should I even have to have this conversation? Well, anyway, point is I was suicidal my whole life. It always sits there. It always, gee, get out, get out, get out. It's always talking to me. And the reason why I lived in the past was because I felt entitled. I was entitled to that graceful walk down the sidewalk. I shouldn't have to blow my brains out. I shouldn't have to do what you want me to do, which is an act of violence. And then you can say, he hated himself. That's why he killed himself. He shot him. He blew his brains out. It's obviously he hated himself. You know, you'll come up with some psychobabble bullshit to define who the fuck these people are. You pieces of shit. You disgusting pieces of shit. You'll come up with some psychobabble to sit there and glorify your decision to be animal torturers and imposers and preposterous risk imposers. You pull the little ticket out and you stick it in the little kid's pocket. You know, this is the ticket you play with. I pulled it out, I shove it in your fucking face and stick it in your pocket. You're con artists. But anyway, you play this this fucking game with people. And so, yeah, I felt entitled. And when I hit my 20s, I started writing on the subject and, trying to defend the right to die in a graceful way because I said I'm entitled to it. Okay, you're entitled to use your medicine, to have your heart transplants and your liver transplants and do all your fucking goddamn bullshit because you think you're so fucking worth it and you're so fucking important and you have to live another 3 weeks. All this horse shit. Yeah, I would have never done any of that shit ever. Okay, I'd been to a few hospitals in my youth and I was completely done with that process. You lunatics, you sadistic lunatics. Well, I guess the masochistic lunatics. You're masochistic lunatics. To subject yourself to that horse shit with no realistic prospect of gaining anything but being able to drool on your grandchildren another day. You fucking lunatics. The money you waste dying. It's insane. And you're going to sit there and judge me? Fuck you so thoroughly. So yeah, I felt it was an entitlement. People have a right to die with dignity. Okay, not by your slanders, not with your horse shit piled on, not with Pierrot's bullshit that, oh, you had emotional, you need to talk to Pierrot so you can live. You needed to talk to somebody who would convince you that it's all got reason and purpose, blah, 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 blah. Like Hythloday isn't a fucking adult already. Like he isn't already smarter than you, Pierrot, you dumb fuck. You're going to preach to him. You're going to tell him what life means. Fuck you. You with your little girl philosophy. So anyway, it baffles him why I would demand death with dignity. Why I would demand respect for my rights to do to myself whatever the fuck I give a shit to do to myself, okay? That the one thing I do own, okay? Apparently I don't have any right to logically argue with some of you assholes, but that's the least I can do. And I'm not telling you what to do with your stupid cunt life. I'm just going to judge what you're going to do, and I'm going to judge it fairly. What it really the fuck goddamn is. That you have some sort of ego thing. You need to produce these little babies so you can sit there and prop them up somewhere and say you are somebody because you made a kid. And you don't give a fuck about the risk. So what, it comes out retarded. Then I'll play some game that it's not really retarded. It's just Asperger's. It's just this. It's just some other bullshit. I mean, you're living in such a deluded, putrid, crappy little shitty delusions. You're just full of shit. Everything you believe and cherish is crap. Ugh. You're fucking living in Peter Pan world or something. It's just so fake. So anyway, it shouldn't baffle you that people would wish to die their way, not your way, asshole. And if I was to force you to die my way, the way I say so, you'd find it pretty goddamn fucking offensive. So fuck you, asshole. Alright, now to the bigger asshole, or at least equally as big an asshole, or maybe even bigger. Who cares? I should get back to the mystic thing as context. So it's a, well, I think I've already stated it. I mean, everything we do is just action and reaction. It's all cause and effect. If you have some idea, you have it for a reason. There's a chain that got you there. There's reasons. And obviously we have this, Hythloday in his final video says, I'm an intelligent rat in a maze. It's obviously more complicated than that. You should have said ugly maze. Frustratingly convoluted maze of bullshit. But the maze is really the one inside of us. The one that made you who you are and what you think and all the ideas that pop into your head. And so that's all programmed. It's not like you're doing some special thing by thinking. It's just mixing the ingredients that are already been put inside of you by your life experience, your exposure to the world, what you've read, and what books have hit you over the head in terms of your personal experience. And this is another amazing part of Piro. He's had the book hit him right on the fucking head. The book of, God, this is dangerous. And he still won't say it's dangerous. He still won't say there's any problem. He's colossally failed at something, and he says, it's easy. No. Fucking idiot. But anyway, there's so much here to play with in terms of, just getting to the root of it. So anyway, the mystic is, as we all should be, a realist in the sense of understanding this is just a machine. We're just robots. And so in that sense, we're just like a rock, okay? We're not doing anything truly original or anything else. The rock is only going to move because some force acted on it. We only move because some force acts on some idea, some motivating machine, mechanism, cause and effect. It's all just a bunch of snowballs rolling inside of you, and they all roll a specific path. They don't go to Venus. They don't go do something else. They do everything by the laws of rolling. And so in that way, we're robotic. Just as Hythloday pointed out, there's no free will in his video. But that certainly doesn't mean that what we will or how we think or what we do doesn't have the context of we can understand. So just as I have pointed out many times as an illustration that evolution, when it started to sink in terms of an idea in my head, started me thinking, because now the symbol of the tree, the branching tree, they used, right, for evolution. And once I realized how bloody evolution was, how this really was just an excuse to slaughter trillions and gazillions of organisms in brutal and horrible ways so you can create this master race of the fittest, at this huge price, this huge, gigantic price. So I didn't see the tree with a Nazi symbol on it, but it might have been just as appropriate. But trees became a little bit funny in my head in the sense that I could see them and I could see the blood dripping off of them metaphorically. Okay, so that was understanding, that was knowledge. Clearly knowledge gives you context. And for the mystic to say we don't have any more context than a rock would be retarded. And he's basically saying stupid crap like that. That's just crap. We sense a much deeper, richer world than a lion does or a gazelle. Doesn't mean we feel less. Doesn't mean we feel more. It just means that we sense more. We can see more. We can see further. We see more. I mean, it's the simplest way to say it. We clearly see more. Okay, we can understand that the gazelle has parents and that it has grandparents and it has, we can understand things the lions can't do. They can't understand. And it's just a fact. It's just a fact. And why is it complicated? How do you acquire a philosophy that makes that complicated? And it's the same argument I would make about Hythloday. There's no excuse for him to play this word game with life and pretend because it's my feelings. Oh, well, those are my feelings. Those are real. I have no knowledge that other people have real feelings. And that's playing a game with the truth. You know that's not the truth. You know that's not how the reality works. You have the knowledge to know. So why are you pretending you need to feel their pain for you to acknowledge their pain? That would be idiotic. You have knowledge of it. You know it exists. So why are you pretending it doesn't except for your own convenience? Because it makes your existence easier, and that's it. But anyway, this video says a lot about you. Yes, I stand by almost every word in it. Specifically, you are valuing people on their value to you. That's not true at all. I pointed out how Hythloday, obviously his philosophy and his thing I was pointing out to me personally has no value. Hythloday has no positive value to me. Okay, that's what I didn't say that, but that's clearly the point I was making, is that he's nothing but a frustration. He's nothing but a symbol of imbecile. He's nothing but an irritant to me. He's nothing but another bloody fucking tree, another thing to be overcome, to be fixed, to be repaired. He's broken. It's just a huge symbol of wrong. So what could be the value to me of a relationship that's just antagonism, constant, perpetual antagonism? Fuck. And so what did I do in the video? No, I explained that no. Look, Hythloday was intelligent. Hythloday, if you're going to realistically believe in what you're believing and you have some knowledge of stuff, then why are you wasting it? Why are you throwing it away? So I'm making an argument for his existence, even though I hate his existence in the sense that he represents and stands for everything I hate and despise. I think I was being incredibly fair and not talking about what it means to me personally. Anyway. Which, by the way, I see as inevitable technically. No, technically it's not inevitable. That's the whole point. We're quite capable technically of hating and having some emotional, visceral dislike for something, but recognizing that it has rights. We're perfectly capable of doing that. I don't need to be gay to understand being gay and understand how it would suck if everybody's being bad to me or nasty to me because I'm too different and they can't accept my differences and all that kind of crap. I don't have to have any emotional attachment to it. I don't have to think gay is cool. I don't have to think any of that stuff. I just have to understand that it's wrong, and that every gay person should be judged, by the character of their gayness. They shouldn't be judged because some gay people are assholes. Anyway, but you then see the value of someone you disagree. But you then see the value of someone you disagree with, so that the conversation could be had. So again, this more nonsense. I didn't do any such thing. The fact is, I do have to argue with nihilists. They're there. They exist. I don't know how they exist. I don't know how the fuck somebody gets in this position where they think that us and them matters. As I've pointed out with the child argument, there's not a rational argument for nepotism. There's no rational argument defending nepotism. You have to be a complete insane lunatic. It's clearly a bias. It's clearly one, that people feel, and it's clearly irrational. It clearly has nothing to do with deserve or merit or earned. Just as inheritance and the rest of it is a stupid way to run an economy or run a civilization. You don't inherit your position. You have to earn your fucking position. I mean, it's the logic is unassailable. You cannot assail the logic with any reasoning unless you are some sort of eugenicist or something, or you think that, the person got where they got because they have superior genetics, and that only superior genetic people can, fit that job description. The only people who can be plumbers are people who were the child of plumber. I mean, it's just so fucking irrational. All right. And then you don't acknowledge the value of that. So again, I don't know what value I didn't acknowledge. I clearly pointed out that just, what am I going to say? Yes, I'm a creature of habit. I will miss the habit. But is there something else involved here except that? Except some personal bias? Everybody thinks their dog is the coolest dog and their cat's the coolest cat. That's just the way it works. I was just making the argument that, that's not what we are in the world. So why would I talk about my personal habit? Oh, there's a personal part of me that's attached to Hythloday. Well, I'm only attached because it's a habit. It's a routine. It's, it's just nothing else to it. All right, anyway. You acknowledge that, whatever. That's your view of life in a nutshell. So whatever that was, it's incomprehensible gibberish. But you then see value of someone you disagree with so that the conversation could be had. Again, where did I do that? Where did I say there's something valuable about living in a shithole world? We have to argue ABCs with fucking morons. Morons who can't figure out A, B, fucking C. And we were supposed to have some advanced conversation, and I can't get them past A, B, C. All right, and then you don't acknowledge the value of that. Yeah, there's just no value to that. It's caustic and disgusting and horrible to have to argue with assholes like you. It's not fun. This isn't any fun, you fucking idiot. But for you it is, because this is what you go out and do, is observe the world, and you play with it and poke it, and with your little stick, because you're so fucking stupid. It's like putting a little kid in a concentration camp with the corpses and stuff, and maybe he just has no context, no understanding of why it exists, and so he just starts poking out eyeballs. And I remember when I was a kid, I did shit like that, right? You go fishing, and you got a knife, and you're cutting up the fish, you have to clean them and all that kind of crap, and you got to learn how to do all that shit. And what the hell? You dig his eyeball out, and you see what his eye is made out of. It's some kind of dissection. And it's a complete indignity to the, the fish, of course. You wouldn't want somebody doing that with some kid playing with your eyeballs, fucker. But yeah, that's what imbeciles do, and that's what you are, an imbecile. All right, that's your view of life in a nutshell. So there's no view of life in that fucking trivial sentence. Life's value is to be judged based on how you value things that happen. So this doesn't make any sense, right? I mean, what does that much mean? And how do I do something different than that? Pointing out that, look, we're all just brains, right? We're all just soda machines. I'm saying that the soda machine that's putting arsenic in your soda, okay, well, it's not a good machine. I don't have anything against it personally. I'm just saying it's not functioning. It's not a good thing. And Hythloday's nihilism was not a good thing. It was a very bad thing, okay? It's exactly the same philosophy you need to be a psycho killer, to torture people because you don't think it's consequential. You don't think their torture means anything. The only thing, that's exactly the philosophy a psycho killer needs. And some asshole is eventually functionally just arguing rhetoric that if some psycho killer was listening to it, he'd be saying, oh yeah, that's so cool, good, I can go psycho kill. Because none of the thems means anything. I don't feel their pain, so fuck it. How could it possibly mean anything? It's not real. I can't touch it, so it's not real. I mean, fuck you. Alright. Those you value highly, I don't know who that would be. You see the valuable parts, like helping animals. So again, this is just so stupid. Yeah, like being rational and understanding that if you're torturing them, you might as well be torturing me. What's the fucking goddamn difference? You're just basically saying I don't have to acknowledge the facts. I can just pretend the facts aren't there, they don't exist, and you could do the same thing to me just as easy. And so why shouldn't I find that something I should be paused by? I could be in that place. I could be in that circumstance. So it's wrong if it happened to me. I know that for fucking goddamn sure. So why isn't it wrong when it happens to them? Oh, that's right. There is no reason why it's not wrong. It's still wrong. So what's complicated about that? Oh, there's absolutely nothing complicated about that chain of reasoning. But choose not to value them anyway. So I don't even know what that means. So again, my job here on Earth is to value something beyond what it should be valued. I'm arguing you nepotists sit there and value your own children. You protect them and do things for them and cheat for them and help them cheat, to get across this tightrope. Why? Is it something about the child? No. It's about you. That's all. It's about your bigotry and your bias. You're pretending that there's something special about my children, when there can't be logically anything special about them unless you're some kind of egomaniacal lunatic who thinks your kids are somehow intrinsically better. And you have to be insane to do that. You have to be deluded, so fucking deluded. You all think, right? There's whatever, 300 million breeders in America or whatever the number would be. And they all think their kids are better. They all think their genetics are better. They all think their family is funner and cooler. And you can't figure out that some of those people got to be pretty fucking deluded? Fuck you. Some, like all of them, just like the religion argument. 7,500 different religions can't all be right when they're saying different things about what the truth is, can they? No. And what's the likelihood? That some of them are right, or that they're all fucking idiots? Yeah, the likelihood is they're all deluded idiots. Anyway. You end up saying nothing really matters. So it couldn't be the further from the truth that I argue, right? It just couldn't be any bit further. You couldn't say more opposite a statement. I'm saying the only thing that does matter is sensation, and you're the one saying that you're the arbiter of what are meaningful sensations, and that you'll sit there and say a whole bunch of them don't matter. And that's a fact. Therefore, but misrepresent Hythloday's cruelty. So again, this argument, I never accused Hythloday of being personally cruel to anything. Ever. So this is just horseshit. I just merely pointed out that the philosophy he advocates for can only lead to cruelty, because it only empowers people who have an incentive, a personal incentive, to turn people into thems, and to say that it's only a theory, okay, that it matters whether they suffer. That's only theory. There's no real facts indicating it matters, because I don't feel it. I mean, fuck you for this. Fuck you for... I mean, he uses the word misrepresent when he clearly misrepresents anything I said in the video. I'm arguing with his philosophy, clearly. And I'm arguing with the fact that his philosophy is nothing but an excuse for cruelty to imaginary animals in imaginary thought experiments. Well, there's nothing imaginary about it. And clearly you could see Hythloday had mixed feelings, because he sort of quipped about he was vegan for a day, so he's recognizing there probably is some value to it, and he just couldn't be bothered. And he couldn't be bothered. Why? Because he was the one who said cruelty doesn't matter, clearly. They're not imaginary animals. It's not an imaginary thing that happens every day in slaughterhouses or in the concentration camps that the pigs are living in right this second, you fucking cunt, where they can't even move. They never go for a walk. Ever. That's not imaginary. Fuck you. So again, more diminishment of the reality with some sort of talk that is somehow only a theory that it happens. No, it's not a theory. It's real. All right, rather than real life animals, and again, the ones you would enslave to a perpetual regurgitation of torment, death, pain, suffering, over and over and over and over again. Again, in nature, the numbers are preposterously horrid in terms of the number killed for every time somebody gets fucked. Yeah. Lots of things go without ever a nice walk. But also the fact that you think you figured out the answers to things that in fact you still don't even know the best questions. So that doesn't even make any sense. But what are the best questions, Bureau? What God made us? Well, there's no questions. The questions are all quite easily answered. And you just don't like the fact that they all point to the fact that this is just a ludicrous farce. Okay, this whole thing is quite obviously disgusting. It is a meat grinder. It is something only a Nazi could come up with as a plan, this whole survival of the fittest nonsense. And you want to pretend and reclaim it and say it's something better than that. And it's nothing better than that. You're just Heil Hitlering, to your god of glib indifference. You motherfucking piece of shit. Questions that relate to them. So just more word nonsense. The fact that you think you've figured out the answers. Yes, that is a fact that I do believe that. And you're telling me I haven't, as if you have some answer to be able. You have the correct, the teacher's guide with all the correct answers in it, and you can judge. Yeah, fuck you. To things that, in fact, you still don't even know the best questions. Why don't you raise some of these best questions? Well, because you'll come up with some bullshit answer, right? There's no free will. So instead of having the guts to just plainly state, yes, there's no free anything, because free is a stupid fucking word anyway. It doesn't mean anything without there being some kind of cage. And there's no way to be free in any absolute sense. You can only be free to do certain things that relate to them. So it's concepts you don't even understand, and yet you're the ones who just psychobabble, just complete bullshit. You make up some sort of we don't have free will. We have free will power. We have the freedom to somehow have power. No, anyway. You want a society that celebrates intellectual achievement. So again, you can't even get that right. I point out again that we as a civilization fail so dismally, and it's so obvious. There's absolutely this culture doesn't value intelligence or anything that you can do with intelligence, all the power that can be achieved through people spending their time, instead of watching cartoons or learning how to dance or doing all this other bullshit. Instead, we invest billions and billions of dollars in baseball players and football players and race car drivers and all kinds of nonsense. Absolute. Then the Olympics is just another preposterous amount of money. And if we took all that money that's wasted on that crap to create incentives for people to pursue intellectual pursuits, to learn how to be skilled and competent at doing things, huge power of incentive that we're squandering and wasting. That's all I said. Celebrate. There was no fucking concept. I don't want people celebrating. I don't want them to fill a hall full of people wearing tuxedos and all applauding. No. No bullshit. No horseshit. No shows. No TV show. No bullshit. No horseshit celebrating anything, asshole. Okay, you don't spend any time giving the guy the Nobel Prize. You give it to him. That's it. You send it in the fucking goddamn mail. You give him the fucking goddamn money so that somebody else watching, a little kid watching, says, hey, I get $3 million if I do this. Yeah, go out and do it then. Because we gave you an incentive to do it, not a bunch of applause. So you can't even get the concept right. I don't want a fucking culture that celebrates intellectual achievement. I want one that values it, you dumb asshole. And encourages it, you dumb asshole. And that's what I said in the video, you fucking lying piece of shit. Alright. Or so you imply and claim. So I didn't imply it and I didn't claim it. Okay? I claim nothing about celebrating anything. That's the whole fucking problem. You all want something to celebrate. You're all fucking goddamn voyeurs. Getting off on that kind of shit. That's not what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to understand that it's valuable, and you're supposed to invest in it because you know it's going to pay off in the future. Not tomorrow, the future, which you assholes can't invest in because you don't know how to build nests, you don't know how to do anything rational. All you do is lay eggs in shit. And then applaud yourself. Celebrate your fucking decision to lay an egg in a pile of shit. You fucking idiot. But you yourself only value your own intellectual achievements. Well, I clearly only value intellectual achievements that are intelligent. So yeah, I'm not going to value achievements that aren't intelligent, that aren't right, that aren't true. I'm not going to value somebody who gets the wrong fucking answers. I'm not going to sit there and say, yes, we should reward wrong answers. Man, amazing. Yes, but I do have, I will say, let's see, ironically, this has greatly limited your intellectual achievements. So, and how is that so? So why don't you demonstrate that somewhere? That somehow valuing my achievements has somehow caused me not to have any. Yeah, fuck you. But again, I'll demonstrate that. I mean, again, your obnoxiousness to even post this fucking shit ass comment on a perfectly balanced eulogy to somebody I had related with on YouTube for years. I think I did a respectful summation, and you got to type this crap on it. You got to put this disgustingly putrid footnote on that eulogy. That's your ego talking, nothing else, asshole. You couldn't just leave it the fuck alone. All right, you don't even understand the questions. So more of these questions. What questions don't I understand? Why don't you make a video about these questions I don't understand? See, this is this whole rag of this fucking weak ass piece of shit. He doesn't make any videos on anything rational. He just talks about his own fluffy nutter bullshit. And never in a rational context. That's why no one's watching his fucking videos, because it's totally impractical bullshit. He doesn't ground himself to any kind of logical boundaries, and it's exactly the critique that Hythloday had of Pirro. That's why he was done with him, because it was a waste of his life. You're a waste of somebody's interaction time, because you don't do it with any seriousness. You have no commitment to it. You're not invested in any of it. It's all just gibberish that you fucking spew. All right. Yeah, you don't even understand the questions. Just an assertion. Why don't you quote the question I don't understand, you fucking lying piece of shit? I'm so going to bury you. The future is going to bury you under me. Okay? Just so deep under me. All right? Because you're going to be proven to be just a naysaying, nitpicking, stupid loser. As well as you should. Totally separate from your answers being soap bubble dreaming. So just more horseshit out of his ass nonsense. Like, what statement I have made is not true. Is it true that nature's not a psycho killer? That in every single way, in every respect, it's behaving exactly like a mass murdering, child molesting psycho killer? In what way is it not doing that? Jesus, you're so full of shit. Anyway, by the way, Hythloday understood QM well enough. How the hell would you know? Oh, you would have no clue. But he certainly didn't understand. You certainly didn't defend your nonsense and your lies. He could see through those well enough. And he conceded many of my points on the fact that this conventional physics is full of shit. That his rejection and sympathy for your system was hard to understand. Yeah, no, it was pretty easy to understand, because he didn't have any counter argument to it, because he couldn't find it. You don't think Hythloday wanted to prove me wrong? Yeah, he wanted to. He just couldn't. And every single fucking thing he brought up, Stern Gerlach, this, whatever it was, you know, I do 3 minutes of research and I got the answer. Because your physics is lame and weak and preposterously without evidence. It's all just your daydreams about what you want the universe to be. You don't understand it so poorly. So again, no evidence of this poor understanding except on your part. You're the one who shows up with the faked evidence, you know, pretending that single slits produce, interference patterns in water waves when they don't. You know, you're the one lying and contriving. Defending your nonsense, just a poorly evidenced pile of crap. But he doesn't make any specific videos on these subjects. He doesn't touch the subject of physics in any serious way. He doesn't show some experiment that proves anything. That at least it's understandable why you think your toy system, so again, toy system, I could say that bent space, a bent geodesic. It's not even a toy. It's so trivial as an explanation. It explains nothing about why something moves. Nothing. It provides no evidence, no information. It doesn't give you any, it moves because of this magical thing. It's not a real thing. I mean, where's this bent geodesic? Where's the geodesic in the real space? What's it made out of, this geodesic? It's just such a nothing answer. Vacuous, empty. Anyway, might have some relationship to the physical world. Yeah, well, it might and it will. And if you want to stake your reputation on it, let's do that, okay? I'm staking mine on my theory. Why don't you stake yours on yours? And I'm going to bury you, fuckhead. All right? I'm going to prove you to be a simple-minded, trivial bigot who only defends this nonsense because you have an attachment to it. You need it to defend your shape-shifting horseshit perception of reality, to defend your willpower philosophy bullshit. Okay, that you're something other than a dumb fucking badly programmed shit for brain robot. That's all you fucking goddamn are. All right. So then Skid Row Radio Times, and he was a good man and very intelligent. So he let a pit bull run free. It's not being a very good man, in my opinion. I mean, putting me at risk of getting my face eaten off by your fucking dog is not, in my opinion, good behavior. I don't want to harp on that, but I mean, it's just so fucking irritating, these people who have these dogs that clearly, if something goes wrong, it goes wrong catastrophically, and they just take no account for that. I don't care if somebody's miniature poodle is running free, all right, because it can't do much damage. I mean, it could take it a year to chew me to pieces. But a pit bull can ruin your life in 10 fucking seconds. Fuck you. And it's not about whether he's a good man, and very intelligent. Who cares? Again, it doesn't mean anything. He was a fucking nihilist, Skid Row Radio. Newsflash. He didn't give a fuck about animal suffering. Didn't give a fuck. Okay? Just couldn't understand how it relates to his existence at all. How he has to take any account for the existence of anything else's a misfortune in the world except for his fucking own. How do you call that good? There's nothing good about that, jackass. I mean, there's this fucking fluffy bullshit. This is so fucking traditional, though. Any scumbag on earth, they die, some asshole has to get up and talk about how a great person they were. Well, some people just weren't great people. Sorry. It's just a fucking goddamn fact. And Hythloday happened to be one of those retards. Alright? It's just a fact. He wasn't a great man. He wasn't a good man. He fucking, I mean, just the simplest logic you would say is that he farted a kid into the world, and now he's bailing on that kid. So he's not even obeying any kind of normal, sensible relationship to, well, if I'm going to do this kid thing, then I ought to have some investment in securing their future. He didn't give a shit about their future. Fuck them. These aren't good man qualities. So's Gary, ironically, depending on how picky you get. So just another useless statement. Right, exactly. Depending on whether you give a shit about the facts, everybody's a good man. So everybody's a good man if you just don't give a shit about what they actually say and what they do and all the rest of that crap. Yeah, then everybody's good. I mean, just fuck that. Alright? Fuck this tripe. So anyway. So now we'll play some Piro video, right? And then we'll be done with this. But this is the unfortunate fact. So, again, me and Hythloday had reached some sort of amicability, obviously, where we could communicate ideas, and it really just didn't have to be personal anymore, because as long as we evaded being personally insulting, it was okay. Now, I think Hythloday was still insulting in the way he phrased some of his questions, but I took it. All right, say, okay, go ahead, take your shot. But don't pretend, let's not pretend that I'm going to be pleased by the shot, you know. But there was that, whatever that is, we had a certain, okay, let's argue. And so arguing's okay if there's purpose to it. And that's the whole point. There's no purpose in arguing with Piro, because even when he concedes a point, the next day he'll pretend he didn't concede it. So it's just a waste of your goddamn time. You can build no logical structure that is outside of Piro's logical structure. If Piro doesn't believe it, you will convince him of nothing. You will change nothing in how he thinks. So you're just wasting your time, because even when he lets you think you're getting somewhere by forcing him to logically recognize a couple of facts and put one fact together, two facts together, and three facts together that are going to obligate him to recognize something, he won't recognize it the next day. So all your work will be wasted time. And at least me and Hythloday knew that our arguments had a deeper sincerity, and that the fact is that he would challenge me and he would concede my victories. Yeah, maybe we'll get to the comments on the fucking video. These people are so fucking obnoxious. So yeah, let's start here. What the hell?
And then he checked out shortly after that. He, forget whether it was a comment or how I got it. It must have been a comment.
So he did a little paraphrase of the history, and it was all bullshit. So there was nothing wrong with Piro and Hythloday's relationship until in my stick-cam room. They wanted to have a debate on capitalism, and they couldn't agree on the first words of the debate. They couldn't agree on the chairs. They couldn't agree on the podium. They couldn't agree on a fucking thing on how to have a debate, and it was mostly Piro's fault because Piro didn't want to have the debate in the context of somebody's going to win the argument. That you're going to pile up a pile of logic, and that's what the debate's going to be about, is the points being raised. So anyway, that started it, and then after that they went back to conversing, and again Hythloday hit the brick wall where he sets up the logical points and then Piro just changes the subject. You're talking about free will, and he changes the words to power will. This isn't about some sort of power will, whatever the fuck that is. It's about whether or not we as individuals can freely play the piano, or freely be great philosophers, or freely come up with the right answers to the mathematical problem, or that we clearly have to program ourselves to be able to do that. We have to go through a staging of programming. We don't program ourselves, but we go through a stage of programming that enables us to do things, called practice and study and contemplation, and all of these things that are required before those things will be the byproduct of your function. But there's nothing free in any of it. It's all confined by what language you speak and where you were raised and what books you read. It's all confined.
This guy knew since way back, that, you know, no worries. He's just going to change. This kind of argument's no good. And then he started focusing on the massage stuff. And I basically thought he was going to make it through, and the reasons he had told me.
So there was absolutely no reason to think he was going to make through anything, that he was just getting over a bad period. There was nothing like that. I mean, Hythloday's philosophy pretty much was, yes, I'm done playing a bad game. This is, I mean, he was an anti-natalist, but he was clearly saw no function in our function. Saw it as just chasing our tails and all that kind of crap, and that was the fundamental thing he saw. Now, he got this purpose, okay? The purpose was there's this legal action to finish. It was like cleaning up your room or something. He did that in his own house, right? He cleaned up everything, put everything in boxes. And so this was something to hang around and get done. It was unfinished and need finishing. So he was invested in finishing it. And unfortunately, it has to do with this whole legal process. And unfortunately, I already knew the outcome was going to be, because unlike I had this delusion that as you go higher into a system, that the system gets better. The flunkies can make mistakes, but the people at the real top, they're not going to let mistakes ride. And I had some notion that there was some idea of that, because I had read old Supreme Court cases and stuff, and it seemed like these people were pretty smart, and they knew, they gave a shit. And obviously, though, we changed all of that. Ronald Reagan and the rest of it changed all of that. There's no sincere person in politics anymore. They're all fucking racketeers, and they don't even understand the law, let alone do they give a shit about fairly applying it. And I could make so many arguments about what makes that obvious. And even in the British system, this whole idea of, unwritten decisions, decisions that they don't have to count as president, so they can treat me a certain way, and nobody can ever take my case on their case and say, well, look, this is how you applied the law in that case. But it doesn't matter. They're allowed to apply the law differently now. It's perfectly legal to do that. We don't have to be accountable for how we treated one person. We can treat one person like complete shit, and it's okay. You can't ever use that decision to your advantage, because we only did that for the special case. It's just such horse shit. The whole principle is thrown in the garbage. The whole idea of equal under the law is thrown in the garbage.
Why he was living, it seemed to still apply. So
So anyway, no reason to think the reason why anything was applied. He still was clearly saying, when I'm done with this, I'm getting the fuck out of it. He said it overtly in the videos. Okay? This is it. This is the only reason why I'm hanging around.
Kara's dog or whatever. And so that's why it hit me hard, because it was a friend. I felt unfairly rejected, but I didn't really blame him because of the emotional stuff going through. But in a way, that doesn't help. But he was around, and
He wasn't around all that much, though. He was gone for a whole year or whatever it was. And so, this is just more, this is a story you've made for your little self. But it has nothing to do with the reality.
continued to be an acquaintance, and in the long run, our friendship was about being part of the public debate society. And I got over my butt hurt about getting rejected or whatever.
Yeah, I don't think he did, but whatever. I don't think you understood that. Like I said, Hythloday's view of friendship was again utility. It was utilitarian, and in some sense, so is mine, and it's just a fact. And again, how does it affect me kind of thing is always going to come down to, I mean, all you people can lie about the truth, but there's lots of people who die, and you go to the funeral and you pretend to give a shit, but you really didn't give a shit. So why are you playing this game that giving a shit in the first place is something we all must do, and then pretending that there's some people that just were a pain in the ass. Okay, they were friends, but they were a pain in the ass, and it's a practical matter. You're better off they're dead. It's just a fact.
When I get over that stuff, it's like bridges are gone. It's like, because it's like, it's obviously your loss. I'm sorry that your emotional situation has hurt my feelings, but I got over it. It took forever. So, that's why it's hit me. I think he's a genuine.
Let's understand. So he's a genuine friend, but clearly Hythloday was only in it for the argument. So you can pretend he was in it for something else, but fine. I don't think he showed up to just have social conversations, frankly. He showed up to make points and to make arguments. Now, some of the stick cam room, I'll admit, some of that is just casual enough to be just people yammering and you don't get too serious and all that kind of crap. So that's fine. I'm not saying we all didn't do that and there wasn't some value to that. I mean, we spent hours talking in stick cam where I didn't hate your fucking guts. But you also weren't saying anything to make me hate your guts.
Right. And Gary's reaction, well, maybe to be expected is...
Again, my reaction was nothing but an honest statement. That's it. Okay, so, Gary's reaction.
So it just shows Gary actually believes these ridiculous characterizations. I mean, there's no way that it's fair to, living or dead, to accuse Hythloday of cruelty.
So it's nowhere fair for anybody, for a vegan to argue. So somebody who believes animals do feel, and they feel just as intensely as we do, and all they are is dumb. That's it. They're just stupid. They're not even retarded. They're just stupid. Really, really ignorant little kids in a sense. And you say it's okay to torture them because they're stupid little kids. And the vegan is saying, no, that's not a good enough excuse. What, they're stupid so you can torture them? You can prevent them from ever going for a nice little walk and having their little head petted and all this. You can deny them all kinds of comfort. And it's okay because they're stupid. And that's all you're saying. And you have no evidence, you have no reasoning, you have no logic to defend any other conclusion. You can't in any way undo the facts. And the facts are, they are mammals, and it's part of our evolutionary chain. And we were just as stupid as they were, just a fucking few tens of thousands of years ago. You could just go back 20,000 or 30,000 years and you'll find a human that's almost as dumb as a chimpanzee. Almost as dumb. Would you torture them? Would you put them in pens? Would you deny them basic comfort? No. So what the fuck is this conversation about? Of course that is a despisable perspective. That of course somebody who sits there and advocates that it's okay to do that is an asshole. And you can say it. They're a fucking goddamn motherfucking malicious asshole. And I didn't even do that in the video. Nowhere close to that. I didn't point that out. I didn't sit there and harp on how Hythloday's basic philosophy is sadistic, usury, exploitanist. I deserve comfort. I deserve to be fat and human. They deserve to be tortured. They've earned it. Fuck that. Fuck validating that. Fuck saying anything good about the person who holds such a fucking goddamn bigoted view of reality. Fuck you for defending his nihilism. Fuck you.
That's a cruel attitude towards innocent life forms. It's just, like, why would you say that? Unless...
I would say it because he overtly advocated it. He overtly defended Kantian ethics. He basically said, yes, we are superior. We're human. We deserve. We've earned. We are the special thing in the universe. We have special magic powers. No, we fucking goddamn don't. We have a few perceptual powers. That's it. We can see the blood on the tree that isn't really there, but is really there. Okay, we can see the context, and that's it. We see more context. We do not. There's no evidence we feel more fucking goddamn pain. That we get lonelier. When it's... When there's a lion cub whose mother's just been slaughtered and it's out in the wilderness, okay, hopeless and helpless, crying, is there any fucking goddamn difference than if it was a 2-year-old? No, there isn't any fucking difference except your bigotry. And that's it.
Actually believe that.
Yes, I actually believe that. If you advocate for something, you should be held accountable for what you're defending, what you're facilitating. And again, nihilists are only facilitating people who have personal agendas, selfish agendas, okay, who will exploit others to satisfy their needs. Period. That's all it's good for. It can accomplish nothing else but to facilitate selfish gluttony that will in fact cause other things suffering. That's the only outcome possible, you motherfucking dumbass. And if you can't understand that, you're really too fucking goddamn stupid. You're too stupid to invest in, and that's what Hythloday thought of you. You're too stupid for the fucking conversation. You're not worth his goddamn time. That's what he said to you overtly, you jackass. And that's what I'm saying to you overtly, jackass. Your conversation sucks. It's so fucking trivial and so fucking stupid and so fucking dishonest.
And for that matter, I mean, Gary's done a lot to convince Hythloday that when you sum up life, it's a net negative. Now, Hythloday...
And I don't even say that. I didn't say every life that's what happens. I've said some people get fucking lucky. I'm just saying that when you're birthing people into the world, you don't know what your chances are. You're not evaluating the probability at all. You're just saying, it feels okay to me. I feel lucky. Well, your dice are the one that's going to do the rolling. They're the ones that are going to come up with the skull and crossbones. Fuck you people and the risk you impose. That's the argument I'm making. I'm not making some big argument that I can tell you that, oh, definitively your life was a waste of your goddamn consciousness. I think it was, but I'm just saying I can't prove that. But I can certainly prove the risk is that you can logically understand the system and what the system is going to impose. Those statistics are real, so fuck you.
I think for himself, he's responsible for his own belief.
A bunch of assholes who haven't died yet telling me dying's worth it. I mean, I can understand how irrational that is.
These systems, but I know for a fact that he put a lot of thought into Gary's arguments, and though he also tore down certain aspects of Gary's argument.
He didn't tear down nothing, okay? You want me to replay the videos, I will. So if you're going to lie about what Hythloday advocated, maybe I'll go replay his fucking nihilism videos. All right, and and you want me to do that? Is that paying proper respect? It's the truth. You want to pretend the truth didn't exist. Well, it existed. He was, in fact, a stupid, ignorant cunt. No doubt about it.
He ended up with his own path to having this life as
Yeah, well, that's all horseshit too. So let's just understand he's old enough to lived it. He's recited his experiences. It's all kind of broken, right? I mean, love isn't all that's cracked up to be. Having kids wasn't all it was cracked up to be. The adventure he had in life was pretty much frustration and irritation. So yeah, he got the pattern. And it certainly doesn't get any better as you get older. It only gets tougher because, yeah, you end up with a bunch of fucking goddamn miseries.
Radically a negative sum. So, anyway, this was a test to see if I could do this in my life.
Alright, so that's probably enough of a video. There's other shit I could comment on. I mean, assholes are everywhere. Let's see. Gary is the least likely person ever to commit suicide. I mean, you're just so fucking wrong. So this is this logical empiricist. So he can't add 2 + 2 to save his life. I mean, it's just so fucking stupid. He is unkillable. Well, yeah, I mean, I might be unkillable. But it doesn't mean I can't do it to myself. He says things he says just exactly because he loves life so much. I mean, it's just so fucking obnoxious a thing to say. I mean, I just, what kind of brain does somebody have to sit there and say that somehow there's some ulterior psychology other than what I'm stating plainly to you, that my whole life I have been tormented, okay, by perception of how wasteful and indecent this life is, and how many times in videos have I pointed out just how lucky I have been, and it's luck alone that has made it possible for me to survive to this point, and that's it. And you sit there and just poo on that like it doesn't exist as a fact, when it's critical fact. I would have been long dead if I wasn't damn lucky. And I mean lucky in the sense of, and if I didn't have these circumstances that facilitated it, the odds were way against me, okay, in terms of surviving. Whether that's good or bad is another question. I'm just being very lucky in terms of accomplishing the task of being here. I am deeply dissatisfied with existence. Deeply. Profoundly disappointed that my parents could be so fucking stupid. Oh, To Be Serious chimed in, which is hilarious. But anyway, we won't waste time on that mush either. La 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 la. Yeah, okay, great. Done. Anyway. So, yeah, I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess it's good. I mean, me and Piro were big parts of Hythloday's YouTube life, so it's probably fine to do this. What Hythloday would want would always be a nice thing to think about. Again, I don't, like I said, as a person just living, sitting in a chair, fine. But we do have to be accountable for what we believed, and Hythloday will always, just as Piro is going to be tarnished in my mind and disfigured. His Dorian Gray portrait is what I see. I see the whole thing. I see who this Dorian Gray really is. I have the portrait here, okay? The real monster. And you can't undo that. I mean, it'd be nice if I could just pretend, oh, it doesn't have anything to do with reality, who they are, what they advocate, what they say, what they do, how they behave. Of course it does. I can't pretend that doesn't exist. And so, what am I supposed to say? I'll remember Hythloday, I'll remember what he said, and that'll irritate me. I'll remember his fucking pit bull, and that'll irritate me. He had a cat. I remember the cat, and that'll irritate me because the cat seemed to get second-class citizenship in the house. Okay, I think the cat finally got eaten by the dog. Who knows? Because I never saw the cat again. So the poor cat probably got, shoved off somewhere. Never treated as well as it should have been. Never got it as good as he should have had it. So they're dislikable things. I mean, they're just a fact. So yeah, if I start thinking about Hythloday, I start thinking about things that are irritating. It's just the way it's going to happen because Hythloday was irritating. So, but I don't think Hythloday would be angry that, oh yeah, well that's how Gary thinks of me, is all these irritating conversations we had. Yeah, that's what I'm stuck with. I don't think that would offend him. So fuck you, Piero, asshole. And such. So that's more than enough of a video. So till the next time. Hopefully this is going to work.